What's happening, people? Welcome back to episode 5 of Fat Pod Lads Extra Time. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for joining us. Apologies we weren't here last week, but we are back this week to discuss all things FPL. Usual crowd me again. First and foremost, let's go around the houses. Ruse, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yourself?
All good, mate. Rossi?
I'm all good, mate.
Good, good. Hindi?
Yeah, very well. How are things?
And I've come to Bug last because you're the first person I want to talk to, Bug. So first and foremost, how are you?
Surviving.
Okay. So, as we all know, 2 weeks ago, 4 of us played our wild cards. We didn't have that much success, but we were laughed at by a certain Mr. Bugden who said, haha, you've all gone too early. I've saved mine. I'm going to rock it this time round. Last week, we didn't get to talk about it because we weren't here, but Bugden used his wild card. Let's find out how he got
on. Beautiful. Beautiful.
So, 41 points, Bug.
Yeah.
Talk me through this team. Talk to me about it.
Well, to be honest with you, like I said earlier, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if you actually look at the players there, they get points. They get points. You look at that back three. Unfortunately for Lewis, they conceded in 23 seconds. The Hex is back, the same. You've got Eze and Semenyo who've got the most shots in the Premier League at this moment. They're just not converted. Diego Jota is a striker midfielder who can't get past an hour. The minute I put Salah in, again, the Hex again. And then he decided he wanted to be a bit of a wanker and do fuck all.
So I'll be honest. Obviously, I think you are a lower scorer this week out of all of us. It wasn't the best of weeks for you, but you did go with your wild card. You have got a bit of an advantage because you now got Salah in, you got Haaland in, you got Eze in. When I did see your team, I did think, well, that's a decent wild card team, actually. It just so happens that this week it's performed absolutely horrendous. So are you thinking more about, at the start of the season, you said, I'm planning from 1 to 5. That's my structure. Are you still sticking to that? Have you going from 5 to 10 now? Are you, where are you at?
It's the next 3 I've got, so I should not be using any subs until basically I'm not going to tell what game because it will give away what sort of player I want to put in. But the next 3 games, I'm hoping someone's price goes down.
Haaland ain't going down, mate.
Nah, I've got him in.
He's got Haaland.
I reckon there'll be a couple prices going down. That means I can take out some of the mid, if you will.
Okay, so you are looking to change as you move along there, but obviously 41 points is atrocious.
Yeah, but O'Kinney says there's a golden number, and if you look at my average, I'm hitting that 64.
41 is different.
True.
Yeah, averaging it. Average is
trending downwards, Bugden. Trending downwards.
Well, speaking of trending downwards, Indy, I am going to come on to you next because you talk quite a lot about 64 points being the golden number this year. I think I've seen you hit it once in 5 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's not been ideal. It's not been ideal. This
week, you talk me through this. 50 points. You're 14 points off your target. You have to try and make that back up in the season if you want to hold on to your crown. But I can see a couple of mistakes you made on your bench. 9 points from Sells, 6 from Mazraoui. Talk me through your team, mate.
Well, look, I'm averaging 60.25 points a week, which, to be honest, isn't that bad. Considering I said 64, I'm 3.75 points per week off. All right. Look, I'm no mathematician, but if I was, there's 15 points on my bench, and that trends up, and then I'm well over the 64 average. So, but it's small margins. I went for doubles. Brentford away from home aren't always the biggest scorers. They're much better at home than they are away. It didn't quite work out, as Bugden said. They conceded very, very quickly in a game that I don't actually think that City were very good. So actually, I think they probably would have conceded over the course of the game. Mazraoui on the bench probably was the only one because I had Lewis on my bench for long periods of the week leading up. And then I tinkered probably 10 minutes beforehand. I've never ever tinkered 10 minutes beforehand and it's come off. It's always been the worst decision. I think I need to just kind of stick to what I've been thinking the whole week rather than get worried 10 minutes before the deadline.
This is a bit of pressure you're feeling, maybe, because you are.
No,
I think you're 20 points off top. Are you starting to feel it a little bit?
No, my main issue is that I'm a Man United fan and we got slapped by Liverpool the week before. So after having that in my mindset, thinking that the natural reaction would have been to change up the team. And unfortunately, the team that played against Liverpool was our best team, effectively. So changing it up meant weakening the team. And I thought we'd probably concede a goal. Ultimately, if Cameron Archer could put away his dinner, we probably should have done.
So I was actually looking. I was quite, I'm going to put up again your team because, your goalkeeper, you can't really say too much about because I got Sales and he was on my bench. They're playing Liverpool. We're on fire. The reality of him keeping a clean sheet was slim to none. I was just lucky because I had Raya as well. But obviously, you have Martinez, so you can't be too critical about that, can you? Really, that's just one of them things.
No, I think Martinez getting 0 was a bit of a naff one for me, and I didn't expect Sales to get 9. I would never have played Sales, never in a million years. I would have been relying on save points for him to get kind of 2 or 3, and the upside for Martinez to keep a clean sheet at home would have been quite high. It didn't work out just because that's just the nature of football. But across the team, I've got points everywhere. I mean, I've got a Liverpool defender, I've got 2 City defenders, I've got a United defender on the bench, I've got a Villa defender on the bench. So I was very heavy on those 3 teams to keep clean sheets. Unfortunately, they didn't work out. But also Palmer didn't fire. Rodgers, who seems to be completely allergic to scoring points in fantasy. He plays 95 minutes and does nothing apart from play really, really well, but doesn't get an assist, doesn't get a goal. He's like no goal threat whatsoever, but is actually a really, really good player. Jota again, 60 minutes and out, and that was poor. Muniz on the bench was hurt me, but Haaland captain, I honestly don't understand why none of you lot keep him as captain just every week. It seems so fail-safe, and for 2 weeks, a number of you have not done it, and you could have all scored 70, 80 points and didn't do it. And it's potentially kept me in touching distance and kept me there. But I mean, top to bottom in our league is 20 points. That's, a captain choice, to be honest, on a good week.
Yeah, I agree. And I do agree with Haaland. And, if for example, I mean, I know not captained in 1 week, but that week hurt because he got a hat trick. But, I think he's got 54 points already.
Dave, those that are about it would have had him captain.
Sorry, mate. I'm just going to, I don't know if you can all see this. Just 1 second. Those that are about it. So I'm just going to pull this up here. So I don't know if anyone can see this, but this is our table. I can see me second. You're down at the bottom, mate. So I'm about it this season. You went.
He's not that guy. He's
just at the top of the notifications bar. Dave, your notifications bar said you're perilously low and overdrawn in your account.
So obviously 50 points. You average in, what did you say? 60.125.
60.25. 60.25
average. You talk so much shit.
That's got 12-point deficit.
I'm going to
12-point deficit.
So what we had? We had 4 weeks, right? Yeah, 60.25. He's worked it out. He's
of course he had. He hasn't done that off the top, just off the bat.
To be fair, I did do it off the top of my head. Rossi, you're top of our league. Your average is 65.25. Just to give you a difference, you've averaged 5 more every game.
I'm above average then.
Yeah, I think you've had the best. You've had the best start. That's why you're top of the league. Not in every category. Kim said you're not.
So I'm 64.5. So I'm hitting that average that we need this time round. And I'm going to come to me because I was the highest scorer this week. So I'm going to pull. Who am I going to pull off the screen this time?
Yourself.
Bring me
Rossi.
Again.
No, I'm going to bring you back, Rossi, because you went off last time. I'm going to get.
I don't care. I'm eating skills.
Let's get rid of Bug because he hasn't been gone yet.
All right.
So Bug is out. We can still hear you, Bug, though. So I had the best week this week. I had to score 61 points. Again, Haaland being captain. Watkins was a bit of a good pick for me. But Onana coming off at half-time injured was a bit of a problem. But, I'm quite comfortable with how my team is set up at the moment. I don't see too much changes afoot. I think, for me, Muniz will be gone this week. I think he's been underperforming, and I've got a funny feeling Jimenez is going to start a lot more often than Muniz. Plus, Muniz played yesterday. I think he played 90-odd minutes, and he came off injured. So that's a worry for me. But like I said, I'm quite settled with my team. There's not too much I'm going to change in that. I've got a good couple of goalkeepers. My defence is pretty solid. And I've got good options off the bench. So I'm quite comfortable. And 61 points, like I said, this week has put me to that 64-point mark average that Mr. God himself says I need to perform well this season. So, yeah, I'm quite happy. Is there anything in my team you boys would look and think you might want to change that?
Yeah.
The manager.
Let's bring it back. Go on then, Bug. Talk me through your change.
Again, you reacted too quickly to a Madueke hat trick. I think that's off of one game is stupid.
But do you not think having Madueke, he's going to play regularly now. He's going to start regularly. So do you not think having him and Semenyo as an option, as a switching option, is a good tactic?
No, but how many minutes did he play that game? I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't watch football this weekend.
Who? Madueke?
Yeah,
82.
82. And what was his goal threat?
Well,
he's the outball, but he's not always there.
The thing about Noni, right, is he'll have 100 chances in a game. He does create chances. He does make chances. So for me, I think he's a bit of a no-brainer because I think he's going to be a threat, and he's fairly cheap. I think getting him while he's fairly cheap is a good shout. His price has risen since I got him in. So even if I get rid of him now, I'll make some money.
Get Sancho in.
What it's all about.
I
understand your point, Bug. I generally get what you're saying, but you've gone from top to third in a week. So
yeah, but how many points?
Bug, do you think Sancho will play?
I think he had that good a game. He looked a little bit reborn. He looked confident. He was nutmegging people, taking them on, leaving them for dead, and he changed the game for us.
He got man in the match as well, didn't he?
Exactly. He looked like what he did at Dortmund.
Yeah, in the right team where he can attack and run at people, he's the person you want, man.
Exactly that. And look, unfortunately, the guy that we all thought was going to be good and lost about 4 million, Nkunku, scores a goal and he's probably going to start again.
Yeah.
We got someone in the chat who is apparently leading our mini league. Let's have a quick look. Make sure he's not gassing. He is leading it. 314 points. Guyan Jacobs. That's a big score.
Well done, mate.
He is top out of 100 and...
Well, Salah, I presume Salah and Haaland.
So his team, because he's in the comments, he's got Henderson. He's got 51 points, so he's below average this week. But he's got Henderson, Gvardiol, Robinson, Winks, Salah, Semenyo, Saka, Smith Rowe, Haaland, Isak, and his bench is Fabianski, João Pedro, Harwood, someone from Southampton, and Wout Fass. But he is topped by he's not by a country mile in our league, but compared to us boys where we are, he's got 30 points on us. But as Hindi said, that can all change. So well done for leading up to week 5.
And thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for doing it. And
why is he not in the chat, mate? Why is he not involved in this? And we kick out Bogdan.
Yeah,
sorry, if we was getting rid of the Deadwood, I think it'd be you, mate. 61.25.
And Cal's in the comments. You all met Cal last week. Cheers, Cal, for tuning in. Coming on to Robbie, I'm going to come to you next, mate. Talk about your team a little bit. You are now top of our mini league. Like I said, it was a bit of a. Who am I going to pull out this time? Let's take out Ruse.
Laters, Ruse.
We can still hear you, though, mate. Don't worry. But let's pull up Rossi's team. 51 points. Not too shabby. Haaland and Watkins, same as me. But your captain choice this week.
I fucked up, man. Big time. Old Pep was talking about Haaland not playing and all of that. And for some reason, I thought, I better take him off captaincy just in case. Instead of thinking, well, if he don't play, at least my vice captain can then be, you know what I mean? So I mucked up this week big time. Should have been on Haaland, should have stayed on Haaland, but it's what it is. So I chose Pedro, and then obviously that flopped. He's still in Brazil somewhere chilling. Yeah, and then Eze didn't do nothing for me. Palmer flopped again. Luckily, I got Smith Rowe off the bench for me. Gave me an extra 7. Jota, same as these guys, really. I can see him getting dropped from a lot of teams soon. Jota, 1, because you got a lot of rotation with Champions League and the Cups coming into play, but 2, he's 60 minutes. So it's just, you want a 90-minute, really. Yeah, and Dunk done well for me. Apart from that, Martinez, again, I swapped for Raya a couple of weeks ago because their fixtures look better, but Arsenal were just looking solid as anything, ain't they? So
Bring him back. I can hear him.
There he is, Mr. Gabriel.
Yeah, that hurts, mate. Look at that picture. Get rid of it.
51.
Yeah.
Got
50. I mean, look, in when you look at this week overall as a fantasy, Premier League, I don't really see that many teams with that many high points. I think it's more of a case of, your captain choice. If you were to pick Haaland as captain, your week goes from 51 to 65, 70.
Yeah, exactly.
The margins are so small at this stage. Obviously, we're so early on in the season. I got quite lucky, obviously, having Raya, and he kept a clean sheet. I'm not lucky because I'm a Tottenham fan, but oh God, Johnny's in the chat. I ain't seen Johnny he was like, Johnny is an Arsenal fan. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you for tuning in, Johnny. Johnny is on every week, the Park Lane podcast, giving me shit. And
Are you sure he's talking about Tottenham?
Yeah, well, he definitely is, because I'm guessing Tottenham are playing pretty shit against Coventry. So yeah, 101 Philly is he's here. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Johnny, thanks for tuning in, mate. I really appreciate it. Even though you do give me shit every week. But I give as good as I get. So coming on to, because he is an Arsenal fan, the very last person I wanted to talk to today, Ruse. And just for this moment, I am going to take myself out, and I've done this on purpose. Talk me through your team, Ruse.
Done pretty shite, really. I used my 2 free transfers that I had, and I put in Salah and Diaz. Flopped this week. I should have really gone for Haaland, but because you boys all got him, I'm chasing. I want to try and do something different, so I went with Salah. And the 1 week I put Salah in, so did the Hex. Says it all.
Two bald guys.
Yeah, we stick together. Raya was handy, getting a couple of bonus points for me. Other than Watkins, the rest of the team done quite shite, to be fair. The odd 2 here and 2 there.
I'm going to pull myself back now. Yeah, obviously, in terms of your team, you were a bit like me. Having Raya, we got fairly lucky because Tottenham just couldn't fucking finish their dinner.
Can't say lucky, mate. We were defensively solid. There's no luck.
And this is the thing, and this is kind of brings me on to my next point, and this is something I wanted to touch upon. So Russ, you said saying before the show, how many goals have Arsenal conceded away from home?
And in the last 11 games, we've won 10, drawn 1, conceded 3, and scored 34.
Yeah, see that is, Hindi, come to you, mate. Obviously, you are bottom at the moment, but is an Arsenal defender on your kind of radar? Do you think that's somewhere you're going to look to maybe try and get them points back? Is in defence? Because I'm looking at across the board, and all of our team's defences have scored pretty shit. They've all done pretty poor, apart from the odd one here and there. None of us had Mazraoui. None of us had, Delict, for example. Well, Russ had Mazraoui and Bugd had Mazraoui.
I had him on my bench.
Yeah, you didn't have him then, did you? But do you think, I put Raya in, it was him or Sells. I chose him because Sells they were playing Liverpool. Like, I was quite fortunate he got me 9 points. But is an Arsenal defence kind of where you're looking to target, or are you worried about the fact that Calafiori could come in and unstabilise it a bit?
I think last year I went for double Arsenal from about week 10, just because they look so solid, and they followed it through. They are definitely building from the back, and they're building on the basis of a solid base for the rest of their team. And the reason they're getting so close to the league is because of the defence. It's not because of anything else. They do not give up chances. They do not concede goals. Last year I had Gabriel and Raya for most of the season. And that that's what saw me through probably big points. A lot of people took Saka out at times. I kept him in again, long, big points. And I think if you remember from our league last year, I was about 100, 150 points behind the leader. Those three probably were the big reasons why I ended up winning the league, because everybody else didn't go for double Arsenal. So every time somebody else was getting 6, I was getting 12. I was just slowly bringing it back. And then Saka was just on fire for about a 5-week window when everyone thought he would struggle.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've got porn star Rossi in the house behind us. In his lounging position. Just a bit of news. Tottenham have conceded. They are losing 1-0 to Coventry.
Coventry.
Thomas Akanji in the 63rd minute. So, yeah, and we are going to talk about Tottenham, and we are going to talk about Ange a little bit later on, because I want to get you boys' opinion on it.
What do we think of Tottenham?
Shit.
What do we think of shit?
Just remember, I do have the power to do this.
We ain't Tottenham. We ain't Tottenham. We ain't Tottenham. We ain't Tottenham.
Yeah, so no, I do want to get your opinion later on Ange, but obviously I want to talk about FPL a little bit. You know, this is an FPL show, so I do want to talk about it a bit more. Just Johnny said in the comments, if you lose this one, I'm going to hunt you to the grave. Cheers, Johnny. And I'm going to be 3 goals away from home in 2024. So, yeah, there goes my 2-all prediction. But hey ho. In terms of FPL, so I want to talk about. I spoke briefly about it. That was Muniz, and options around his sort of price range. And because for me, he's got to go. I can't see him, hitting the same heights as last season. I'm looking at, I've got a bit of money in the bank, maybe Mateta to come in, but then, is he the Palace penalty taker? According to Bug, he's not. According to me, he is.
Sharing it. They talked about it after, didn't he? They're sharing it between him and Eze.
Oh, okay. The week you've all got Eze as captain, you don't take the penalty.
But it just does, yeah.
So I want to talk about some players that could come in. So I believe it or not, I've actually got Dominic Calvert-Lewin on my radar. Now, the reason I say that is because even though Everton are shit, he's actually playing fairly well. He's fairly cheap. He's a good replacement, and he's always going to play. Rossi, who do you think would be a good replacement for Muniz?
I mean, I don't want you to get anywhere near my team or anything, but if you're going from Muniz, you've got to drop down to Pedro. It's a no-brainer for me, for Brighton. He takes a lot of free kicks, penalties. He's goal scorer. I know he didn't play last week, but that's purely because of travel. Other than that, the striker area is a bit thin, isn't it? Like for around that figure, anyway. You got Wood. I think they got a good run coming up. Whether you can get him in, but yeah, there'd be the two for me if you're going from Muniz. What
about you, Bug? If you, I don't know if you got Muniz. You don't, do you?
No. Well, I like Chris Wood. I think he's a battler. I think he's now proving like he's not just the 20-minute sub. But I'm actually quite impressed with Vardy's game at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's he, 37, still outpacing some of the quick defenders. Like, that man survives off nicotine, hate, and Red Bull. Like, he does, doesn't he? Like, he's a wind-up merchant. He's a Neil Maupay that can finish.
So here's a couple of options for you, right? And I'm looking at it now. So point one of a million. So for example, Muniz is 6 million, right? 6.1 million get Visser. Wood.
He's injured.
Yeah, he's injured for 2 months now.
Oh, is he really? And one person that is John Duran for Villa.
Yeah, he won't get enough time.
He won't get enough minutes, so
not going to play enough. Then you kind of go down a bit further. You've got Evan Nilsson for Bournemouth, missed that penalty the other day. Then Nketiah, Calvert-Lewin, who's got a yellow injury sign next to him anyway, so that could be someone. And João Pedro down to 5.7, then Welbeck, then Vardy. And then the rest really not worth mentioning, apart from Antonio and maybe Strand Larson from Wolves. But like you said, Rossi, the options are slim. Philly, he's leading our league, so he's got to come up. But DCL is a knee-jerk. Can't wait for him not to return despite Everton's good fixtures. And this is what I mean. They do have some good fixtures, but, it's a risk with Everton. It is the risk because they are poor. They are so poor. And yes, Jay, we have all seen the Tottenham score, mate.
Everyone's letting you know, mate.
Nobody wants to talk about Tottenham. So the limitations are there. Hindi, where do you go? Where do you go? Like,
I think there's a lot of value a little bit lower than that in terms of kind of players that will play every week and will be important to their team. There's Liam Delap, which is Rory Delap's kid at Ipswich.
Yeah.
He looks like he'll be a player. I really like him. But even Muniz, just a straight swap for Jimenez. They, if he's the person that's taking his spot, you've trusted in Fulham to have chances. You just now need somebody to finish them off. Now, if he is past his head injury from a few years back, he was a great finisher when he was in his top.
He's decent.
So, he's good in the air. There's a lot of crosses coming in because Iwobi likes a cross. Adama, probably his shots look like crosses. You've got all of these players that are decent playmakers like Smith Rowe in that team, Andreas Pereira. You just need somebody to take the chances, and if Jimenez is the guy, then so be it.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout, and he's 5.7 Jimenez. So you are going to gain 0.3 million to spend elsewhere.
The only problem with that is who's starting. You're not too sure out of the two of them who is starting.
Yeah.
So if he's the third choice and he's the sub to bring on, then one of them or the other are just as good. But I agree with it. Indy Jimenez a few years ago when he first came to Wolves, decent man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a little curveball here because I'm personally starting to feel there ain't, because like you said, there is no one worth mentioning. Possibly getting a 4.5 million striker, strengthening the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Could you not, realistically, if you're going to drop out and save yourself 1.5 million, with a lot of people now putting in both Salah and Haaland because they've both started on fire, that could be the difference between, downgrading a couple of players to enable you to get Salah. That way you have a bit of shit on your bench rather than in decent rotation, if that makes sense. It's all about strategies. And, Russ, I'll come to you because you didn't speak on the Muniz situation. Do you think, I know you don't have Haaland, do you think that Haaland and Salah is just a combo you can't go without?
At the moment, yeah. The two highest scorers in the old league. So, but like I say, I've not had Haaland since my wild card a couple of weeks ago, which was stupid, really. I thought, after that hat-trick, he might not get another couple. But no, Haaland and Salah are definitely the ones to have, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the difference. If you can save enough money to be able to get,
you've got to have one of them in your team. You have to have one of them by the looks of things, anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you can kind of have enough money to get both in and still work a fairly decent team around them, then you're on the road to success, really, aren't you?
The thing is, I feel like you'll be praying that they do something, because if the other players don't and they don't do nothing, your points would be poor.
Just while I'm here, people in the chat who are here, just going back to our previous point about Muniz, if you do have Muniz, who are you looking to replace him for? Who's a good solution that, around a good sort of price range? Do you like the idea of
Dave, stop trying to get help, mate.
dropping down the 4?
It's embarrassing.
Money elsewhere. And let us know your teams and your thoughts. But I don't need the help because I'm not bottom.
Why don't you just put a cheat up and go, I really don't know what to do. Somebody help me.
I want to move on to something because, as the thumbnail said, it is the first money week of the season. So it's the first chance to win some money. This week, it's a £10 Amazon voucher. That's the very first prize. And I want to go over the rules really, really quickly. They are on screen for you now. And my good friend Rossi is going to read them out.
Oh, you're not. Highest scoring team of the week ends in game week 5. Wins the league position is irrelevant. No chips can be used. You may claim this within 48 hours of the winner being announced and provide a screenshot of your team, or the voucher will be passed to the second placed team. Have we got it, guys? Thank you.
I'm slightly turned on.
That's my telephone voice, you know what I mean? Amazon vouchers.
That's his telephone voice right there. No, but that's it. The rules are really, really simple. It doesn't matter if you are top of our league. I know the top person in the league is there, but this week is all about the highest scoring team. It's the team with the most points who doesn't use any advantages or any chips. Those people, that person, will win the £10 voucher. The way it will work is after the game week is concluded, we'll tot up all the points. There'll be an announcement on the Facebook page, the Twitter page, etc. You must then DM us with a picture of your team, showing us you are the top scoring team. and then you'll be sent a nice £10 Amazon voucher. So yeah, it's all fun and games. This is the first one of, I think there's 6 giveaways. But if you are top, as 1M Philly is top, if you remain top at Christmas, that's when you get a football shirt of your choice. So you want to try and stay top before that. So that's generally the way it works. For week 1 or game week 5, prize week 1. So nice and simple. So yeah, those are the rules. But the next topic we're going on to is our score predictor. Now, the way it kind of works is we all follow the Super 6, whatever those 6 fixtures are. As a team of 5, we all give our scores in weekly, and then we tot up the points. It's 3 points for a correct score, 1 point for getting the result correct. This week, it was a fairly decent week. It wasn't too bad, but after this work, actually, I'll say fairly decent. Russ didn't have the best of weeks, and it's done this to the table. So I'm still top, 19 points. Rossi has rose the ranks. I think you got 7 points this week, Rossi. Let's put you up to second place. Still 4 behind me. Indy on 14, and Russ and Bug joint bottom. Before Bug gets upset about not being alphabetical order and him being bottom.
Still whinging, is he?
Joint baldies.
Joint bottom. Now, has anyone got the Super 6 in front of them? What are the fixtures this week?
I ain't got them, mate.
It's not on yet because the Champions League ones.
Of course. Okay. So we will do that. We will come again when they become available. We'll do the same again. I'll post the scores on Twitter that we've all done. But yeah, if you want to join in and follow on, it's a bit of fun. It's pretty good, and it's nice to be top of something for a change. That's all I'm going to say about that. But half an hour into the show, I want to talk about. I don't really want to talk about it.
Go on, Dave. Dave.
I want to talk about Premier League action from the previous weekend.
What Sunday?
No. Let's start with Saturday.
This guy here. Talk about him.
Yeah,
this one right here.
Let's start with Saturday. No, I'll bring him back. Let's talk about North London Derby because I do want to get your opinions on Ange as well. But let's talk about the game first. So, overall assessment of the game. Russ, you're the Arsenal fan. Let's come to you first. Everyone's heard mine on the Park Lane podcast. Talk me through your assessment of that North London Derby.
Well, to be fair, I thought Spurs played really good. That first 25 minutes, I thought to myself, oh, shit, Spurs are up for this. But you just can't, you cross the ball, no one's there. That's I see Tottenham's biggest worry, I think, at the moment. But then again, our defence record like this season away from home, so good. So I weren't really too worried. After that first 20 minutes, settled the storm, I thought we were quite comfortable. All right, you had most possessions, but you didn't do nothing with it. And then yet again, set piece, same as last year, we scored. I think Saka weren't the greatest at going forward, but his defensive role and Martinelli's defensive role was amazing this week. That's probably one of their best defensive games I'd say they've played, to help the right and left back. Timber's massive. What a signing that is. Quite lucky to stay on the pitch still, though, to be fair, with that challenge on Poro.
It wasn't so much the challenge. I actually thought the challenge was a yellow. Right, and I definitely thought the challenge was a yellow, but Vicario got booked for Timber gripping him up, which I didn't really understand. If you're going to book Vicario, you book Timber. You book both of them because
it's never a red.
No, I'm agreeing with Rossi here. That's never a red. If you've played the game, you've got to try and go for the ball, and it's just bounced off, and it was with no malice whatsoever. I think anybody trying to say that that's a red just is clueless in terms of actually playing football.
But if you actually watch the replay, back, he don't actually touch his leg.
He don't even touch him anyway. So even if it was reckless, he didn't even get there.
It's a weird one though, because some refs they send people off for that. Yeah, that's just the way. I think what a lot of people said was there was no need for him to go inside on the way he did.
He was just protecting the ball.
Exactly, and not only that, you're going to protect yourself. You're going to protect your own leg. You know what I mean? That's just generally the way it works. But I didn't think that was a red, but it was a yellow. But then the reaction after, if he's booking Vicario, he's got to book Timber. But because he'd already been booked, he didn't want to book him again. So, in terms of, it's a great result for Arsenal. Let's be honest. They won 3 in a row at our ground for the first time since the 80s. So
we've won more at your ground.
Then
You've beaten us at your ground into new stadium.
You've won more at our ground than we have, mate, this season. Put it that way.
Just while we're on the Tottenham, Dave,
Yeah.
what do you think of Romero this year? I've seen
Poor.
he was good last year, but this year it's just, I don't know, something's wrong with him. So it's like that when Gabriel
You know what
scored.
I think it is, and I don't really want to say it, but I think he's off to Madrid. He's got 2 years left on his deal. There's talks that Madrid are interested in him. They want to buy him. I think he's kind of
crap.
Mate, I don't get it. I don't get it because they've got.
He ain't going to Madrid, mate.
Honestly, that's the talks, mate. And I think what's going to happen is he's anchoring for a move next year. I think that's generally what it is. And I don't think he's been good this season at all. I don't think he's been commanding. He's shown no leadership, and we are really struggling defensively. He lost Gabriel for the corner, and there were a few times during the game where he lost him for corners. Gabriel just ran off him. Luckily, we managed to defend those, but it only takes one, and he hasn't been great. And he retweeted a tweet the other day talking about how Tottenham made him pay for his own travel back from Argentina, and he had the ump about it.
I see that, yeah.
So I think he's just sulking a bit, and I don't get it because we've got Dragishin on the bench, who for Romania was it the Euros? It was unbelievable. He looked ridiculously good. And with Van der Ven and his pace, that could be a good partnership to look for. So for me, I'd drop him personally, but then I'd drop a lot from Tottenham. I don't think Maddison's been great.
What do you think of Vicario? He's like, I've seen him a couple of times. He's not the best keeper at coming out trying to catch the ball.
Who he reminds me of, and you boys will know, it reminds me of Andy.
He reminds me of early De Gea.
He's a good shot stopper.
No comment
that's
on
about
Andy.
it.
He can't command his area.
Yeah.
Like he does this.
Then corners, it highlighted so much them corners from Arsenal, how flappy he is. But one-on-ones and things like that, I think he's decent.
Thing is, though, a lot of foreign keepers are like that. Yeah. When they first come over to the league, in the first couple of years, 2-3 years, they put on a bit of muscle, they put on a bit of size, and then they're a little bit more willing to go out there and come and claim it. Yeah. The best keepers have always been the ones that have come out and claimed it, whether it's Cech, Van der Sar, people like that who are quite big and kind of dominated their box. They come out. Alisson does it really well. Ederson does it really well. They're still with Raya as well. They're all willing to go out there and do it. Even it doesn't really matter about size, to be honest. It's about willing to be comfortable and getting in and around bodies and still being able to take control of a situation. The thing is,
take a hit.
Yeah, it comes across to me that he's not really sure of himself. He's a bit soft. He's a bit foreign. In Italy and other countries, you might get a little bit more protection from referees, and in this country, it doesn't happen. And De Gea used to get bumped around a lot.
Yeah,
and ultimately, it was always one of his Achilles' heels as a goalkeeper. He was a great shot stopper. He just couldn't, and eventually it got to a stage where all the teams that Man United would struggle against would be the likes of Everton with Fellaini and stuff like that, and just get bullied.
Yeah, see, what I noticed about Vicario, right, and from what obviously I watch Tottenham every week, but I saw if he's a confidence goalkeeper. So there was a couple of times where he came out and he punched the ball quite well early on against Arsenal. Then
he flapped one, didn't he?
He flapped one. And he did. Then after he flapped it, he stopped coming off his line. Yeah. It just killed him. He didn't come off his line at all from that point on. And he does this really fucking annoying thing, which really pisses me off, that he'll hide behind players. So he'll hide behind and act like he can't get past them and can't get through.
You've got a few players like that. Brendan Johnson's another one.
Oh, mate, don't even talk to you about that.
You mean the man that deactivated his Instagram because he was getting too much aggro?
He's shit. He's fucking shit. Like that,
I don't know. Last season, he was your saving grace half the time.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, this season,
I think he still is now.
He's been terrible. He reminds me of a lot of Timo Werner.
Shut your mouth. I love
mate. You would have loved the podcast the other day, mate, because we had a Leipzig fan in the chat.
Yeah,
picking up Werner like you would not believe, mate.
To be honest with you,
he's going to get a massive move in the summer, and I'm like, he's shit.
He was unlucky that he came to the Premier League when VAR started, because yes, he was offside for some of these goals. However, they were so paper thin, he could have been golden boot.
Okay, so if he'd have been onside, he would have won. If he'd followed the rules, he could have been golden boot.
That's what I'm saying. He was too quick for the liner that they couldn't flag it. But let's be honest. You think about strikers back in the 90s, the early noughties and that. Half the goals, the fucking linesman didn't flag for offside as well.
Yeah.
So therefore, you can still say...
has come up and said, I've got one comment for you to show, Bug. Someone was there, but Saliba and Gabriel hustled Solanke really well. If you have enough funds, go for Solanke as differential. I've seen Haaland very soon. Not all teams defend well as Arsenal. That's a really good point, but he's playing against Coventry tonight and he's doing shit all. And just for you, Bug, Timo is trash.
Agree.
One other thing I'd mention with the Arsenal Spurs game, I again, like Ross, was really, really impressed with Spurs. I thought they played really well. Up to the last third of the pitch where they weren't incisive enough. But part of me is thinking that Spurs were at fault and not good enough. But actually, the other side of me thinks that Arsenal were that good defensively. They marshalled the line so well. Gabriel and Timber and Saliba, very, very good. I'm not a huge fan of Ben White. I think he had an all right game, but the other three are so good defensively. So good. And I can't see many teams scoring against them. And I would actually be surprised if Arsenal concede this week coming against Man City. I think that's got a 0-0 written all over it.
Just quickly talking about, as you are talking about Spurs, and, I want to get you guys' thoughts on Ange Postecoglou and whether there's any risk that you think that, it could end up losing his job, because we have looked so disjointed this season. We're losing the Coventry, about to go out the Carabao Cup. We see, was the 85th minute or something like that, 1-0 down. We've got one win, one draw, one loss in the league as it is, or whatever it is. 2 losses, 4 points from 4 games is what we've got. So going out the Carabao Cup tonight is going to put that target on his back a bit more. Rossi, do you think there's
after that statement?
Especially when he's chatting like, I don't just say I'm going to win him. I'm going to win.
Bug, I'll come to you, mate, actually, on this. Would you think Ange is in any danger?
I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I don't watch Tottenham.
All right, I'll come to Rossi.
If they were playing at the bottom of my garden, I'd draw the curtains.
Rossi, I'll come to you then. Do you think Ange is there any risk of him losing his job?
There's always a risk at Tottenham, but always the problem as well is it's kind of the same. I put you in the same bracket as us. You keep going, oh, this manager, oh, we get this manager, oh, we get Conte, oh, we get this manager. We're going to do something. This is the best team we've had for years. You ain't done shit still.
Yeah.
So I think keep blaming the manager. It's got to go deeper than that. And I think you're all right. I think I agree with the Indy and Russ on the fact that Tottenham bossed that game, really. Should have won it. Didn't win it. What's new there? It's one of them with Tottenham. It doesn't matter what boss you got. You get to them games and you don't see it through and go over the line. So I think you'd be mad to get rid of him. What's the point of giving him a year? You give him a year and a half and he does nothing. And then you just get rid of him.
Tottenham's always been Harry Kane. We always had Harry Kane who would score a goal. Do you know what I mean? If we needed it. We don't have him anymore. And it's we are struggling. We are struggling up front. We're struggling to score goals. And people talk about the Everton game, but Everton are shit, mate. Like, we could score 4 against Everton. They're pants. So it's a difficult one. Russ, do you think Tottenham should stick with Ange?
I don't care. To be fair, I'm just kidding. You can do what you fucking like, mate. I don't care. But I think they will come good. I think Solanke, that first 20 minutes, I started a little bit worried, thinking shit, because he was bossing Saliba for that first 15, 20 minutes, like with back up, hold up play and things like that. He looked quite good. I just think he just needs a bit of time. Once he starts getting a couple of goals, I think Tottenham will be flying, to be fair.
Jed Spence has scored for Tottenham. Maybe Ange does win in his second season. Who knows? We're going to go penalties.
Went flying in as well.
I haven't seen it, but Jed Spence. And one of Philly's agreed. He said Tottenham weren't that bad. I believe they'll pick up points soon, and I agree. But let's move on from Tottenham because I'm bored of talking about Tottenham. Let's talk about one of your teams. Let's go to
Arsenal.
Bug, talk about Chelsea.
What do you want to know? We barely win games. We had one good game against Wolves. And now, again, Jackson's gone back to that player where everyone's disliking him again.
He's got a new contract now, mate. That's why.
What's that?
He's got a new contract.
Oh, yeah, he's here for another extra 3 years, ain't he?
Yeah, so he's got a bumper deal. So it doesn't matter how bad he plays. But what was it?
Hasn't he got a 10-year contract now?
Yeah, but he's still only making something like 60,000 a week.
10-year?
10-year contract.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But again, it's
Playing the loopholes of the FFP, aren't they?
it's that 60,000 a year, so our wage bill is not that bad.
Yeah, but 10 years is bad.
Yeehaw.
What if he, does his ACL or something like that, and he's out
Mate.
for 4 years? He's going to sit on his contract.
We had Winston Bogard, who at the time was on 70,000. The next player down was 22. He played 2 games for us, scored an own goal and got sent off. And then he spent the rest of the time in the youth team going, "Now I'll sit on that wage." We've done it once, we'll do it again.
Yeah, but you're going to have to do it with 20 players by the look of things.
That's fine.
Chelsea confused me, and I've said this numerous times because their team's absolutely fucking massive. Their squad is humongous. They've got Carney.
It's not. It's
You
really
got Carney
not.
Menker, who can't even get a game.
If you actually look at our team, we've got a 26-man squad.
Plus 20 at home.
No. They've got another 15, but they've created like a little campsite for them to basically just watch the other team train and get changed on the grass. Basically, like jumpers for goalposts. They have a training session next to the main training session.
Again, we got 26 players. That's all it is. What's he saying?
Chelsea at this point is a delusional team. Yeah, living off old glory. You're turning into Tottenham, Bug. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
where's
you
your
have to
glory?
Talk about 1901.
When was your glory? Hold on
Yeah,
a minute.
where's
Let's
Tottenham's
not skip
glory?
over that. When was
Yeah,
your fucking glory?
We had a lot of glory in the 60s, boys. That's all I'm going to say.
Before you even
What's
thought
Philly?
about.
Is Philly an Arsenal fan?
I don't know. Ask him. He's there, mate.
Dave, you were still in your dad's nutsack in the 60s.
He wasn't in the nutsack,
That's
Eddie.
my joke, mate. I used that the other day.
Right.
Like I said to you, that's the last time Tottenham won anything big. I've only ever seen us win League Cups, and it's depressing as fuck. But I'm used to it. I'm a Tottenham fan. You kind of.
Yeah, do you know what? The Carabao Cup, though, that's the legit. That's
That's
legit.
the one, mate. That's the one.
I'm
That's what
still
we're going
going
for
for
until we
this
go out on
Coventry.
penalties for Coventry. That's what's going to happen. Indy Rossi, talking about United. A good result. I think you beat Barnsley 7-0 yesterday.
Yeah.
Which is, it's Barnsley to be the end of the day. But
To be fair, we played quite well, to be honest. I was watching it. The patterns of play through midfield were lovely. But the thing is, you're playing against a team that let you play. In the first 45 minutes against Southampton, arguably, they looked like the better team. And they missed the penalty, and that changed the game. And then we just dominated them after that. But we were poor for the first 45 minutes. And then a goal goes in. And then all of a sudden, Rashford gets one as well, which, small mercies. And then we actually cruised after that. But I don't think we played very well. I think 3-0 flattered us a lot.
yeah, Rossi, what do you think?
I totally agree. I mean, it's Barnsley in it, 2 leagues below us. They're going to sit off. They're not going to have a go at us. And once we kind of sat there and realised that, and as soon as one went in, the floodgates opened. But it's nothing to write home about, in my opinion. I still think we're poor. I don't know what Rashford's going to do. We need to see next game.
Talk to you about Rashford, Rossi, because you had Rashford in your FPL team from the beginning, and
Yeah.
you've taken him out. Now, what's he got? He scored. What he scored 1 yesterday or 2 yesterday?
Oh no, Johnson scored.
Huh?
Johnson scored.
Well, is he really?
Yeah.
Get in. Going to win that Carabao Cup, boys. Second season. Big
He's
ad.
shit though, isn't he, Johnson?
But anyway, I don't want to talk about Tottenham anymore. It's depressing. But going back to Rashford, Rossi, do you think this is going to be like a bit of a catalyst for him to start scoring points?
It's exactly the same as I said at the start. It's one of them. He goes through confident spells, and if you can get him at the right time, he could easily score the next 5 goals, next 5 games. But quite equally, that could be the last goal he scores for the next 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
So you don't know. I'm not looking to get him back in just because he's had half a good game and scored against a team 2 leagues lower than him.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Process, going back to FPL for the last few minutes before we end. For the next few games, have you got transfers in mind, or are you playing it game by game? Have you got any idea of what you're going to do to? Obviously, you're top now. You kind of want to stay there.
I will stay there.
Oh,
Fighting talk. Meow.
I did have the plan. My plan was to build up all the transfers and wild card and do all of that stuff, but it's kind of week by week at the moment, I think, because I've made transfer this week that I didn't think I would. Mainly because of who the team they've got, and I think that the person I've got rid of will lose value over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I've made a transfer that I wasn't expected to make, but we'll have to see. I'm just doing it week by week at the moment. I don't see a need to change my team massively.
So you don't have like a 5-week plan, and yours is pretty much as and when.
Well, I mean, I've got that plan, but I've also got the ability to top one in, one out every week if need be.
Gundogan has just missed an absolute sitter, by the way, for City. 0-0 still. Absolute sitter. It's finished now, 0-0. Indy, obviously, I'll come to you very quickly. You got a bit of ground to make up, not too much. 20 points is fuck all, as we know. Have you got like a 5-game plan, or are you in panic mode a little bit? And
No, I'm in a good spot. I think the thing is that when you pick your team for a wild card, like I said, I always base it over a 5-week period. We're 2 weeks in, and I have hold the gap between top to bottom. We're now 20 points, whereas at one point it was about 40 points. So I'm making the right movements anyway. But also, a lot of my players are increasing in value. You've got Palmer that should be going up in the next week. You've got Haaland that should be going up again in the next week as well. So all of those are positives. I think Smith Rowe.
I don't know. Are you going to sell Haaland?
Well, I mean, if I was Ross, I could. I won't. But but those little things where they do go up in value. If he was to get an injury, and let's say he's at 15.5, 15.6 at that point, that 0.3 will be the difference between having a Rodgers and having probably a Smith Rowe type scenario. So and that in terms of points, whereas Rodgers is making 2-3 a week, Smith Rowe is making 5, 6, 7s a week. So that all adds up.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And Russ, obviously, as Andy said, Haaland will be going up. You don't have him at the moment. The only option you'd have is to take Salah out to be able to afford him. Have you got plans to get Haaland in, or are you going to kind of stick with where you're at?
Pretty much stick where I'm at, mate. I can't get him in.
Yeah,
I can't afford it unless I wait 4 or 5 weeks and pretty much use like a mini wild card with all my free transfers. But then by that time, you might have gone up an extra 3.23. But I'm going to have to stick with what I got, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're kind of in a position where you kind of have to, and it's the same as me. I want to get Salah in, but the reality of it is to even try and get Salah in, I'm going to have to dissect my whole team, and it means not making any changes for weeks. So I think I'm fortunate that we got one of them. I've got Haaland, you've got Salah, that we kind of stick with it and kind of go from there. What's City's next few fixtures? They got Arsenal home, haven't they? And then anyone know after that?
Then they got the Court. Then they got
League Two, relegation. Yeah, it'll be Haaland playing against Woking Town at this rate. But Bug, talk me through your next year. Obviously, you were top. You were fortunate enough to stay there for 2 weeks because of the international break. You're kind of living off that a little bit now. Any plans to get yourself back up there at the top?
I'm quite happy with my team, to be honest with you. Like you said, it don't look a bad team. They just had a bad week.
Yeah.
I've kept an eye on a couple of defenders that should be coming back from injury. Because when I originally wildcard, I put Trevor Chalobah in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he got some random gut injury. So I thought he was going to be a starter next to Gee. So I've got him and Rico Henry on my radar.
Okay.
I like Henry.
Yeah, I do like Rico Henry. For me, I think for the next few weeks, I'm at that. I'm at Hindy's average, 64 points. I want to try and stay around that if I can. I think Arsenal defence is kind of the way forward. As much as I don't like putting Arsenal players in my team, it's a no-brainer in terms of gaining points. And the clean sheets they're keeping is ridiculous. It's one of the main reasons I do have Raya. It is for that reason. So realistically, I just kind of think that targeting Arsenal defenders will be the way forward, moving forward. But yeah, that kind of wraps us up this week. We will get our score predictions in. We'll chuck them on Twitter. Just very, very quickly for the people that are in the chat, if you haven't seen the rules for the competition this week. And Hindi, can you read out the rules for me, buddy?
I can indeed. So the rules for this week, where the highest scoring team at the end of the week, irrelevant and irrespective of your league position, it will be based on the points scored, and no chips are factored in. And you must claim that within 48 hours of the winner being announced. And the obligation will be to provide a screenshot of your team, and the voucher will be passed to you. If not, then it will go down to the second place team.
And so on and so on and so on. But listen, thank you very, very much, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back next week. We will announce the winner of the voucher, and then we'll look forward to Christmas, where the big prize comes in. So yeah, just very quickly, top of the league.
Christmas. Let's do Halloween first, mate.
I was going to say we're not even there yet.
Halloween, then whatever else. But you don't know. What I mean is the next prize week will be Christmas, I think. I can't remember. I'll have to check. But thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bug, you've got about 6 followers on Twitter. So how can we get you some more?
Follow me.
And your at is?
That thing right there.
Yep. It's hard to do that, isn't it? At Bug CSC. So get following Bug, get following the boys. I couldn't do this show without them. They do make it great. So Rossi is on Twitter, but he doesn't know his handle. I'm going to tag you in a tweet, Rossi, just so people can find you. I'll do the same for all of you. Ruse, where can we find you?
You can find me at Wilson Brown 85. Also want to give a big shout out to Robbo, who watches every week. Good old Rob.
Go on, Rob.
Cheers, Robbo.
Go on, Rob.
And then catch me here every Wednesday, 9 o'clock.
Sweet.
But you didn't do the background for him. He's not going to be happy.
Sorry. Hold on. Just for you, Rob. Just for you. Up the Arsenal.
Rob sounds like a prick.
He is a bit.
Indy, where can we find you, mate?
I'm everywhere, mate. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Eric Robinson's website. Yeah, anywhere you want, I'll be there. More than happy to assist as you may need.
Shout out your company.
Cash in hand.
Shout out your company.
Yeah, so Eric Robinson Solicitors, the best law firm on the South Coast.
Yep. Russ, shout out your company, mate.
Castle Windows, need doors and windows. I'm your man.
Rossi.
See Vernon Paul, you need a swimming pool in your garden.
And if you need a prisoner, get in touch with Bug. Thank you all for tuning in, boys. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week, where we'll announce who won the money, and we'll move on from there. But once again, like, subscribe to the channel, follow the boys, and we'll see you all soon.